Have you ever felt the crushing weight of 1,000 invisible eyes on you, judging every single move you make? I have. For the longest time, I lived my life on a stage I never asked for. Under a spotlight that only I could see, convinced that my every flaw, every stumble, and every misplaced word was the headline in everyone else's mind. My name is Leo, and I used to believe that the world was a panel of judges, and I was perpetually failing their audition. My world was built on a foundation of what-ifs. Oh, what if they think my idea is stupid? What if they noticed I wore this shirt last week? What if I trip walking up the stairs? This constant hum of anxiety was my life's soundtrack. The memory of spilling a latte down my crisp white shirt just moments before a major presentation haunted me for years. In my mind, the momentary gasp from the room was a permanent verdict on my incompetence. I wasn't just a man who spilled coffee. I was the coffee guy. This fear of judgment was a cage, and I had unknowingly locked myself inside, convinced I was protecting myself from the world, when in reality, I was only hiding from myself. The change began on a Tuesday, a day as gray and unremarkable as I felt. I was rushing home, head down to avoid eye contact, when I took a wrong turn and found myself in front of a small, peculiar shop I'd never seen before. It was called the Root of It All, a plant store overflowing with more personality than vegetation. A woman with silver hair braided with colorful yarn was humming loudly, completely off-key, as she wrestled a gigantic fern through the doorway. She dropped the pot and soil exploded across the pavement. I flinched, my body tensing for the wave of embarrassment I felt on her behalf. But she just looked at the mess, threw her head back, and laughed. A deep, genuine laugh that echoed in the quiet street. She announced to no one in particular. This one clearly wanted to be a ground cover. She winked at me, grabbed a dustpan, and began to clean up, still humming. Her name was Elara, and her reaction to that awkward moment was a revelation. Where I saw a catastrophe, she saw a minor incident, a brief, funny detour in her day. She didn't panic or look around to see who was watching. She simply owned the moment. Intrigued, I stepped into her shop. Over the next few weeks, I found myself returning, drawn by her effortless confidence. One afternoon, I confessed my fear, the story of the coffee stain and the endless replays in my mind. Elara listened patiently, then pointed out the window. "Look out there, Leo. See that woman jogging? She's not thinking about your shirt. She's thinking about hitting her 5-mile goal. See that man on the phone? He's not judging your posture. He's arguing with his cable company. So the reality, my dear boy, is that nobody is thinking about you nearly as much as you are. Everyone is the star of their own movie, or at best, a background character in theirs." It was a simple, almost blunt truth, but it struck me like lightning. The spotlight I felt wasn't real. I was aiming it at myself. She then taught me about turning mistakes into minor incidents. "Confidence isn't about being perfect," she explained, holding up a lopsided handmade pot. "It's not about never spilling the coffee. It's about what you do right after. You have about 3 seconds to define the moment for everyone else. If you panic and turn red, you've told them it's a disaster. If you stay calm, or better yet, make a lighthearted joke, well, I guess this shirt needed a caffeine boost more than I did. You tell them it's nothing, you control the narrative." Her greatest lesson, however, came in the form of a lumpy, unassuming vegetable. I was telling her how I always hid my habit of doodling intricate, strange patterns on everything, worried people would find it weird. She reached under her counter and pulled out a potato. "Leo," she said, her eyes twinkling, "I want you to adopt potato mode. Look at this potato. It's not symmetrical. It has weird bumps and eyes. It's not glamorous like a strawberry or elegant like an orchid. But does it care? No. It is gloriously, unapologetically a potato. It doesn't waste a single second wishing it were a tomato. It just focuses on being the best potato it can be." She continued, "Those little quirks you try to hide, your doodling, your specific way of seeing the world, that's not your weakness. That's your superpower. That's what makes you you. To hide that is to hide the most interesting part of yourself. Be the potato, Leo. Be unapologetically, wonderfully you. Stop caring about the opinions of the carrots and the cucumbers." I started to practice at work. When I stumbled over a word in a meeting, I paused, smiled, and said, "Let's try that sentence again with the English words in the right order, instead of blushing and spiraling." The team chuckled, and we moved on. Started showing my doodles to a colleague, who was fascinated by them. Each time I chose not to care, a small brick in my self-made prison crumbled. It was a process, not an overnight miracle. Each act of defiance against my own anxiety was a workout for my confidence muscle. The ultimate test came when I had to present a community art project, a large mural based on my weird doodles. The night was huge for me. As I walked onto the stage, my foot caught on a cable and I stumbled, sending my carefully arranged notes flying across the floor. The old Leo would have frozen, his face burning with shame. The old Leo would have wanted the ground to swallow him whole. But as I looked out at the sea of faces, I heard Elara's voice in my head, potato mode. I took a deep breath, broke into a wide grin, and spoke into the microphone. Well, it seems my notes were just as excited to be here as I am. They wanted to get a closer look at all of you. Laughter rippled through the audience. Warm, shared laughter. In that moment, I wasn't the clumsy guy who tripped. I was the confident, funny guy who recovered with grace. As I spoke about my art, I didn't hide my passion or my eccentricities. I embraced them. I explained how my mind saw the world in swirling patterns and complex lines. I was no longer ashamed of my superpower. The less I worried about their judgment, the more connected I felt to them. I noticed something incredible. The less I cared about what they thought, the more they seemed to lean in, to listen, to be drawn to the authentic energy I was finally allowing myself to show. My confidence wasn't arrogance. It was a quiet, solid belief in my own worth, lumps and all. Walking home that night, the city lights felt brighter, the air felt lighter. For the first time, I wasn't replaying my stumbles or dissecting every conversation. I was just walking, breathing, and feeling a profound sense of peace. The world hadn't changed, but I had. I had learned that true freedom isn't about getting everyone to like you. It's about getting to a place where it doesn't matter if they don't. It's a journey. And each day you choose to be the potato is a day you get closer to living a life that is truly, deeply, and unapologetically your own.